Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, NV, Charlamagne, Jess. We
Morgan.
missed you already. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, you guys know what today is, right? Do you know what today is? All eyes will be on Philadelphia today when Vice President Kamala Harris announces her running mate. The two will hold her and her running mate will hold their first campaign rally later today in Pennsylvania. VP Harris spent the weekend interviewing prospective running mates, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Now, following the Philadelphia rally today, the Democratic ticket will then kick off their campaign tour through crucial battleground states, including Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona. And just to note, Secret Service agents were spotted leaving Governor Tim Walz's house yesterday. So we will see.
Was that Secret Service agents, Morgan? Because I saw people saying that, but he's a governor. Governors have their own motorcade. Like when Governor Shapiro pulled up to the vice president's house Sunday, it was the same thing. It was all of the black trucks and everything else. Like they have their own motorcade and their own security detail.
It's true enough, but, while we're all sitting here trying to figure it out, we're all sitting here trying to figure it out. So, yes, that did happen, and which seemingly was a little bit different from, like you said, some of the others. So we're all on VP watch at this point. So meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, he is defending his place as Donald Trump's running mate. In a recent interview with Fox News Sunday morning, Futures, Vance was asked about the criticisms that he's faced as being a poor choice to be Trump's vice presidential nominee. Let's hear more from those comments from J.D. Vance on Fox.
Look, I recognize that there are a lot of folks, even in the GOP establishment, and certainly on the far left, who don't like the fact that Donald Trump picked me. I actually take their criticism as a badge of honor. And I don't come from inside the Beltway, Maria. You know, I grew up as a poor kid. I didn't come from a political family or a wealthy family. I worked my way through college, through the Marine Corps, and eventually landed as Donald Trump's running mate. I'm not shocked that a lot of inside the Beltway media types don't like me, but their policies are the problem. Of course they don't like me because we're running to fix what they have broken.
Well, it's only a bad pick if they lose, so you don't know if it's a bad pick until after the election.
Fair enough. And when he refers to inside the Beltway, that's a Washington, D.C. DMV type term. Basically, Washington insiders, people who have been in, the D.C. area, the Washington, D.C. White House congressional circuit, if you will. So Vance also argued that media will attack people they fear the most. He also plans to prosecute the case against Kamala Harris and show that Americans were more prosperous during Trump's time as president. Now, both J.D. Vance and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris, they will both be in Eau Claire, Wisconsin tomorrow. Again, a battleground state. Now, Harris is scheduled to pick with her new VP pick, there's going to make a stop in Eau Claire, and Vance is also set to deliver a speech to the faithful in northwestern Wisconsin. Now, the dual visit is just the latest sign of how important Wisconsin is in this year's election. The latest polls do show former President Trump with a slight lead over Harris in Wisconsin, but Trump's lead is smaller than it was over Joe Biden at that time.
It's impossible. I mean, it's very impressive how they always take the language of the left and use it against him. He said he's going to prosecute the case against Vice President Kamala Harris. That's the language they was using on Trump. Vice President Kamala Harris is going to prosecute the case against Trump.
Yep, exactly. So in other news, switching gears, the families of police brutality victims and community activists are calling for reforms following the recent deadly police-involved shooting of Sonia Massey in her Illinois home. Now, a rally was held over the weekend on Saturday outside of Chicago Police Headquarters. Organizers stood in solidarity with the Massey family in a call for justice and change. Now, the former Sangamon County Deputy, Sean Grayson, who shot Massey, has a history of misconduct and has been fired and charged with murder, amongst other charges. Now, protesters also called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which is a proposed bill that increases accountability for law enforcement misconduct in these certain types of situations. So more going on with the case of Sonia Massey. Of course, we'll keep you updated in regards to what all happens and unfolds with that.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
and the George Floyd Policing Act, it won't pass if Republicans and Democrats can't get on the same page, because it can get past the House, but it can't get past the Senate. When it's got to push back from Republicans.
All right. We'll see you next hour, Morgan.
Yes, we'll talk about the courts.
All right. And everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now let's get back in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. So, the courts have been quite the conversation, or part of the conversation as of recently. So U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, he's facing scrutiny. No news there, but for failing to disclose a 2010 flight from Hawaii to New Zealand on a Republican donor's private jet. Ron Wyden, the Democratic chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, says that's according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection records. Wyden says the records show Thomas and his wife Jenny left Hawaii on GOP megadonor Harlan Crow's jet and returned 1 week later. This is the latest example made public of Thomas's accepting luxury travel from Harlan Crow, which has sparked calls for ethics reform at the Supreme Court. Now, that's something that you've been calling for, Shar. Is this moving in the direction that you like to see it?
No, the direction I would like to see. Well, let me take a step back. Yes, any type of reform against the Supreme Court, I am for. But the real reform is going to come in expanding the Supreme Court. And I also wonder too, with this failing to disclose the 2020 flight from Hawaii to New Zealand, does this even matter now, being that they made bribery legal? The Supreme Court, like I'm wondering, like, does that even matter now? Like they literally made it okay for them to accept bribes. So does this matter?
We are in unprecedented times. I'm sure this is something that, again, we'll have to watch and see how this all plays out in terms of, how's it all going to play out? And November, I guess, is a huge factor in all of that. Meanwhile, in New Jersey is mourning the passing of the first Black justice to serve on the state Supreme Court. In a statement, Governor Murphy and Acting Governor Way called James H. Coleman Jr. a lifelong trailblazer, pointing out that he was born the son of a sharecropper in racially segregated Virginia. They say despite growing up surrounded by white supremacy, Coleman became the U.S. Army reservist and received undergrad and law degrees from two historically Black colleges, universities, HBCUs, before he eventually served in virtually every part of New Jersey's state judiciary. Coleman passed away last week at the age of 91. Now, I would ask you to drop a clues bomb, but I'm not sure if you would put it towards, him actually passing away.
There you go again, Morgan. You
life and legacy. Life and legacy.
You always want to drop clues bombs for people that's dead. Why do you do that?
The life and the legacy that they have left. No, we really do salute.
You did this for Sheila Jackson Lee. Now you want to do this for this brother. You want to drop clues bombs for people that are no longer here. Drop clues bombs because they dead.
Drop the clues bomb for Team USA. Okay,
there you go. That one makes sense.
Okay, so Simone Biles is adding a silver medal to her collection as she wraps up her time at the Paris Olympics. She finished behind Brazil's Rebecca Andrade in the women's floor exercise final on Monday. Now, Biles says she has no regrets about her performance, and teammate Jordan Childs called it unbelievable to go from 5th to 3rd. Let's hear from Biles and Childs.
I'm not very upset or anything about my performance at the Olympics. Happy, proud, and even more excited that it's over.
When it came through, I was very proud of myself. It was my first event final, my first event medal. This is crazy.
The Team USA's Jordan Childs earned a bronze medal. The silver gives Biles 11 overall medals in her Olympic career. Biles left the door open to trying to compete at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. That should be exciting to see since they'll be here in the U.S. stateside.
There was another sister who got gold too, right? Because it wasn't all three of them
Andrade, Rebecca Andrade as the Brazilian.
Yeah, Brazilian. Yeah, she won. Yeah, but they were they were all falling off the balance beam yesterday. I felt bad for all of them. There was I think 5 of them that fell off yesterday, but they put on a hell of a performance.
Did you take issue with that photo at all? the fact that Biles and Childs were kind of like bowing towards Andrade?
No, I think they were just showing their sister support. What people got to understand is, even though that these people represent different countries, they all train with each other. They all train with each other in the States, and most people don't even know that. Like a lot of these athletes train in the States, and they all are friends. So the fact that she was repping for her friend, I ain't have no problem with that.
And good is good, right? That to me, I look at somebody like Simone Biles. She's the GOAT. She represents greatness. But if she recognizes the greatness in somebody else and chooses to bow to them or salute them, why not? I think that's dope.
Good sportsmanship for sure. So, of course, this comes in other events as the U.S. women's 3-on-3 basketball team also secured a medal at the Paris Olympics on Monday. They took down Canada 16-13, earned bronze. And the United States men's basketball team is looking to lock up a spot in the Olympic semifinals. Team USA will face Brazil in the quarterfinals on Tuesday. That is today in Paris. And the U.S. is 9-8 against Brazil all time in the Olympics. So this should be an easy win. We'll see what happens with that. But the last win in the series came back to Atlanta in 1996. Now the Americans finished group play in Paris at 3-0 following wins over Serbia, South Sudan, and Puerto Rico. So we will see what goes on with the men later on today. Tip-off is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. So don't forget that iHeart is the exclusive audio home for NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics, featuring hourly updates and highlights all throughout the games. Yes, we've got you covered here. iHeart, the app is free. Make sure you download it and catch that coverage.
All right. Well, thank you, Morgan.
Thank you. That's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. You can follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network at BINnews.com. And shout out all the young athletes out there.
Peace, Morgan.
Now, when we come back, the brothers from Earn Your Leisure, EYL will be here, Rashad and Troy Milling. So don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.